What's up, comic fans? It is time for that new comic book day haul plus review where I take the books I bought this week and we go through them just a little bit. Try not to spoil anything for you, but I give you some insight into the ones I read. Plus, we got 50-cent books, and we're gonna get into it right after this. Welcome back. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna start off with the 50 centers. So, I try to keep them relatively in the same zone. So we've got some indie books today. That's about it. that's the only thing piecing these guys together. This is Hell Yeah Trash Can. And this is like a zine, like a zine or whatever they call them, like really small, put together, the old ash can way. I've seen Hell Yeah in the dollar bin before, but I've never seen the ash can. This is a limited edition ash can, and it's number 53 of 200 with the signature by John Keating, JMFK. So John M&F Keating. So, yeah, that's Hell Yeah, the ash can. Found that for 50 cents. It's just, I don't know, it's probably, it's worth something to somebody out there, I'm guessing, but it's limited to 200. There's a Hell Yeah fan out there, but it's not a book that's, anything awesome, but it's cool to have because it is a book that's pretty hard to find. All right, we got Rogues Gallery number 1. Found this in the dollar bin. This had some minor spec before, and also people just, I guess, read it. So this was in there. Yeah, at one point this was like a $10 book. There's like 3 covers, I think, for that. Here's a little ghost story stuff. The Me You Love in the Dark, issue number 3, written by Scotty Young. So if you're a Scotty Young fan, this is the A cover, and basically this lady falls in love with the house, or there's a ghost in the house, and yeah, I don't really know where it goes. I never got to issue 4, but you can see there, boom chicka boom boom. She's like, "Hey, house." And then here's another one. Pretty sure this was like a ghost-ish story too. The last book you'll ever read about a writer who writes a book. It's the last book you're ever gonna read. I don't remember too much about that series either, but found that in the 50-cent bin, so we can continue reading it. All right, now let's get into the comic books that came out this week. All right, let's go. Let's start it off. First off, we're gonna jump to DC. We're gonna start at DC, and we have Superman Action Comics. So they're telling Mark Waid is telling Superboy stories in here, but it's Clark Kent. So these are all like kind of prequel stories. If you know more about it, definitely put it down in the comment section. But yeah, it looks here like he is about to throw down. You can see his reflection in the armor. He's just straight up about to punch whoever this is. So yeah, I gotta read it though because we're a little bit behind. And then we did take a trip to Midtown Comics this week, and we picked up another one of those poly bags, the Batman poly bags. These are basically going for $15 to $20 on the internet. So I picked one up at Midtown Comics. Came with a bag and a board. All right. We're gonna switch gears now. We're into the indies. This is from the Spawn universe. This is Sam and Twitch Case Files number 17. I'm so far behind on this one, I don't have anything to tell you, but it looks like a pretty cool cover of Twitch. All right, next up we have Spawn number 368. I do have to catch up on Spawn. This is Hell Hath Arisen, the epilogue. So this arc kind of coming to an end, and I still need to read it. Todd McFarlane's writing it, Booth on the art. Cool stuff. We got some ash cans, and these are from Ignition. So they're a new imprint that's out there, new publisher, and we have Murder Podcast, which was their first comic to come out. So this just came out this week, and we got the ash can for it. And then Leah Williams and David Boldion are doing Voyeur, and I think this might be the next one coming out. A lot of these books are 5 or 8 issue miniseries, and then there's like one ongoing or 2 ongoing series, Ignition. But I did read Murder Podcast, all right? Pretty good. Follows, I wouldn't say follows, we were introduced, and I guess we're gonna follow them at some point. Forget if it's 4 or 5 different ladies in this book, and I think one of them was Nina, and she's kind of like the main one we follow in this one. And at the end of the book, you're like, whoa! But we're not sure what happens until the next one. To give you a quick synopsis, and it's not really giving anything away, because if you read anything about the book, it's going to let you know. These people listen to podcasts, this murder podcast, and while they're listening to it, they kind of recite it back, and then they try to murder somebody. It gives them like a murderous rage, and then they snap out of it, and they have no idea what happened, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much what it's about. It's about a podcast that makes you want to murder people, and then you don't remember it. It was good though. It was well written, and I liked the art, so it sucked me in, and nothing about it ever took me out of the moment. All right, next up we have Transformers number 24, Transformers. This is the last issue for Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona on Transformers, so it'll be sad to see them go, but Robert Kirkman is taking over the writing duties, so we'll see what he's got for Transformers, what he has in store. This is issue 24, so Kirkman takes over on issue 25, and you can see here you have the epic battle between Optimus and Megatron. Optimus wins, but at what cost? So for all the hype and build-up, obviously it's not the end of the series, but it was the end for Daniel Warren Johnson. I don't want to say it ended flat, but it didn't. I was glad to see the transform. You know, obviously the good guys are usually gonna to pull it out, and they did succeed at the end of this. We're introduced to some new Transformers and some new characters and some old characters, and there's some new lore, right? So it'll be interesting to see how all of this, the Anna John verse, ties in together, right? We can assume there's going to be some crossovers and stuff in the future, but the ending was okay, but it wasn't a true ending. It was just the ending for Daniel Warren Johnson. So I think he did a really good job, and so did Jorge Corona, who took over a lot of the art duties. All right, we're up to One World Under Doom issue 7. We haven't read this yet, but what we do know is that Mr. Fantastic becomes the scientist supreme in this issue, and I saw his outfit in there. Not bad. All right, here's one that has probably been highly anticipated by some people. I picked it up just to see what it was about. It is a mini series. I believe it's 5 issues. This is Punisher, the Red Band. There is no non-Red Band, and there's some blood. Nothing super graphic. I mean, there's some injuries and there's some bleeding and stuff, but nothing too crazy in this book. So don't go crazy being like, oh no, it's gonna turn me off to everything. With that being said, don't let your young children read this book either. Basically, Frank Castle wakes up. He's killed a bunch of guys. He's not quite sure how he ended up, where he is and how he killed the guys. I mean, he knows. You know, kind of when he thinks about it, he compares it to reflexes, but he still doesn't know what his mission was. At the end, we do find out that somebody is controlling him. You know, he's got an incision in his neck, and you know, all signs point to somebody's implanted some kind of mind control chip in him. All right, I won't give away who the major players are here, but let's just say the criminal underworld plays a big role in this, especially, you know, the New York criminal underworld. So that's all the mobsters and gangsters, you know, the tombstones and the kingpins and all those guys. So that is involved there. All right, we're moving on. We're at Captain America by Chip Zdarsky. Interesting kind of retelling of Captain America, and then also introducing a new character, David Colton. It's good. I'm still trying to figure out where this all fits into the Marvel universe. It does read as a standalone story, and so, you know, I could have easily taken the time to Google and been like, hey, is this part of the 616? Anyway, it's a good story overall. Captain America, you know, still goes through the fighting the Nazis, gets frozen in ice, comes back years later, but when he comes back years later, he's revived around the time of the Afghan war. So, you know, he's sent out to do some work. David Colton also became a Captain America, and he was out there in Afghanistan, and he experiences a lot of stuff. So you can even say in this book, like, you can start to see some of the cracks coming through and see how he developed from who he was when he started to who he is now. Obviously, he's got like some PTSD and stuff like that. Not obviously, not everybody who's in the military has PTSD, but you know, and stuff has affected him. I picked up issue number 2. I had already read issue number 2, and I had issue number 2. I wasn't sure, but I knew I didn't have the design cover. So we picked up the Captain America design cover. So I have Captain America's design cover there. And then we picked up issue 3 this week, and we also got the Captain America design cover. And this is Captain America, David Colston. So, or David Colton. Sorry, I think I keep saying Colton, David Colton. So we got the design variants of both Captain America. So I thought that was cool. Now we're gonna switch gears to the Ultimate Universe for a little bit, and we have Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. So Miles is still trying to find Billy. He's in the Ultimate Universe, which the Maker had made, and the Maker had invited Miles to be part of that universe, but you know, he turned it down. Decided to hang out with the normal people in the 616, and Billy got pulled into this universe, and so Miles ends up there anyway. All right, he's out there. Obviously, he runs into Magic. Magic's a bad guy in this book, if you don't know, and he's searching for Billy. And every time he gets close, Billy is captured by another one of these Maker's henchmen, if you will, the board that he's this secret society, secret heads of state that he set up to run this universe while he's locked away in some kind of stasis, you know, put there by Iron Lad. I think it's fun. It's a good story. It's fun. It is a little bit. It does get you in touch with the Miles character, because he does go through a lot, and you can feel that in the writing. Like there's a stress on him. He is visited by his god Nancy, who recently in the Miles Morales series kind of has chosen him to be like his vessel, right? His champion. But it's the Ultimate Universe, so he gets there and he's like, hey man, he gives him like a pep talk, but he's like, I can't fix everything for you, but I'm here for you. I'm not gonna leave you. I'm not strong in this universe, so I can't just fix things instantly. But Miles is a battler. He battles, and he's going to get through it. Good read, and with the Ultimate Universe supposedly coming to an end in December, I think it's kind of leading up to the return of the Maker. So it might be a book worth investing in if you've been reading Ultimate titles. Which brings us to the Ultimate Wolverine, number 9. The Resistance uses a Sentinel to break into one of the bases, and Wolverine comes face to face with his Maker. She's very much like, that's my child, you know. That's you know, truly cares for Wolverine, and Wolverine's like, I'm gonna claw your face out. What you did to me, I'm gonna it's payback time. So that's kind of what we got going on here. It's a quick in and out mission. The base does have the self-destruct sequence, and so Wolverine kind of goes off track, as Wolverine does, but gets back just in time. So end up blowing up this base. But I think part of the story is just so you can see what Wolverine's reaction would be when he's face to face with the scientist who has turned him into, you know, the Winter Soldier of this universe. So, and last but not least, guys, if you were expecting the Age of Apocalypse to return at some point 20, 30 years later, well, it has. You have X-Men Alpha of Apocalypse. X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha. There we go. It's a fun read. I mean, if you read Age of Apocalypse or you're familiar with it, you're reintroduced to these characters. At the end of Age of Apocalypse, they kind of sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And in this issue, they're like, wait a minute, didn't we sacrifice ourselves? What's going on? Why are we still around? So that's them trying to figure it out. They're led by Magneto and Rogue, who kind of sent them on a mission, and they, you know, using Blink's powers, teleport to another timeline, and that's kind of like where we end. And they are confronted in this new timeline, but it's a brief one-page cameo that's like, you don't belong here. So we'll see where it goes from here. Like I said, if you like the Age of Apocalypse, this might be a book for you. All right. So comic fans, that was my new comic book day haul with reviews. We had some 50 centers. We had mostly new books from this week. We had, like, you know, that Captain America that I threw in there. But that was it. I think it was a good week for books. So if you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go ahead, throw me a thumbs up. That's the same as liking, and comment down below. So do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna get ready for next week's books. Peace, deuces, we're out. Ka-chink. All right, we got a pack here, pile here, whatever. What's up, comic fam?